This is Black Friday, busiest shopping day of the year. You can tell. That's my buddy, Frosty the Snowman. Look at all the people. This is Fresno's Manchester Mall. Ain't really much to do here. The stores that are here are kind of nice, though. I sort of like them. Clothing shops, coffee shops. Got my eyebrows done here once. This used to be a magnificent carousel, one of the most beautiful things in Fresno. And they replaced it with this.
In the 1943 novel, The Human Comedy, William Saroyan writes of the people of a fictional California town called Ithaca. In the opening scene, a young boy named Ulysses watches a freight train pass by. He waves at the engineer and some men riding the train. They all ignore him. But near the end of the train, an older black man is sitting alone, singing, "Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for the old Kentucky home. For the old Kentucky home, far away." Ulysses waves again, and this time the man waves back. "Going home, boy," he says. "Going back where I belong." They waved at each other until the train disappeared into the horizon. Saroyan writes, "Then Ulysses looked around. There, it was around him, funny and lonely, the world of his life." Ulysses, barely old enough to speak, begins to realize that Ithaca and its people are both familiar and distant. This small but powerful passage is the story of living in a place that doesn't see you for all that you are. As Ulysses walked home, he waved at another man, who also ignored him, too tired and old to care. The next passage says it all. The old man glanced at Ulysses, as if he and the boy were already dead. This child, ignored by everyone in town, was seen by a man who would never see him again, from a place far away. Later, Ulysses asks his older brother Homer why the man on the train said he was going home if he was headed to Kentucky, when home was supposed to be Ithaca. Homer replies, "Everybody's got a different home. Some east, some west, some north, some south. We're west." Ulysses asks if west is the best. Homer shrugs. "I don't know. I haven't been anywhere else." Homer goes on to tell his brother about the great cities he dreams of visiting someday. Ulysses wonders if his brother will ever return once he leaves. Homer says, sure, but neither of them knows if Homer would really come back to dusty little Ithaca. So why the hell am I bringing up an 80-year-old children's book right now? The fictional town Saroyan presents is an idyllic yet culturally diverse town going through the trauma of World War II. Its sons are being taken from it by the horrors of war, to which Homer is responsible for delivering the news to weeping mothers and widows. But the people here have each other. They have friends, family, and businesses to keep them there. But what does that have to do with the world of today? What happens when a town like this is no longer the perfect little slice of Americana, but instead becomes something unrecognizable? What happens when you leave your version of Ithaca and come back to find it changed? The people you once knew have either left or become strangers. The signs on the stores have all changed. Landmarks become abandoned or demolished. Neighborhoods gentrified or in decay. You see, Ithaca was based on a real place, the Central California city of Fresno, a city that is always growing and transforming, for better and worse. But this isn't a video about the city of Fresno. It can be any place that you once called home that no longer feels like home.
They used to host anime conventions here, cultural events, like little trade shows. They did so much with this space and really had it as like a community space. And so it's really sad to see it kind of dead. It's funny that the Starbucks is hella packed because of like all the stuff. Like you can go in there and you can walk around and it's like really a good little community space. But in Fresno, it's the car-centric businesses that win out every time. There is rumor that they're going to be building housing units on the upper floor. It might happen, but nobody really knows. But seriously, I saw a video of like the Manchester Mall, like an advertisement of the Manchester Mall from maybe like 2012, something like that. And B-Movie was in there. It was further up, but now enough people have won movies that B-Movie's at the bottom, so I could win it.
Saroyan's Ithaca was a direct reference to the Greek epic The Odyssey. It was a home island of the hero King Odysseus. the place he yearned to return to after fighting in the Trojan War. Odysseus and his crew sailed across the known world for 10 years, encountering mythical creatures, gods, and goddesses in their quest to find their way back to Ithaca. All while at home, his wife Penelope and their son are courted by suitors and would-be usurpers to his throne. Soroyan's Ithaca represents the home that the heroes of World War II have left to fight in Europe and the Pacific. The themes in both works romanticize and idealize the idea of having a place to return to after fighting so hard to save it. But both writers are of a much different time than our own. You see, I was born in Soroyan's Ithaca, decades after he wrote about it, and I left a long time ago, but make a point to visit a few times a year.
Apparently that used to be a really poppin' nightclub. Now look at it. Overgrown and abandoned. Like that round table used to get robbed all the time. Desi Meat and Kitchen used to be a Subway, used to get robbed all the time. Family Outlet has been closed forever. Hey, the smoke shop's open. Tsingtao's been there forever, used to get robbed all the time. Freshco used to be a Save Mart, was abandoned for like 10 years. Now, it's pretty nice. There's lots of cute stuff in there. The weirdest part about this shopping center is if you live in the neighborhood behind it or like around here, you can walk to it pretty easily. Like this is actually, despite the gigantic parking lot, like despite all of this, it's actually a pretty walkable neighborhood. And you got the bus stop right there too. So that bus stop, I think that's the 9. Oh, it's the 12 now. I think that takes you out to Fresno State. And so, honestly, like this neighborhood looks hella nice. Like, nice isn't the right word, but you'll see. Just dudes selling shit on the side of the road. That's peak Fresno culture right there. Right there.
Smash, smash, smash. This is where internet legend Kai the Hitchhiker smashed that dude's head in with a hatchet. Remember that dude? Yep, it was right here.
This is the Cambodian Buddhist temple. It's so beautiful. I think it was one of the first ones in the country.
When this shit's in season, it's probably almonds. Maybe oranges, I have no idea. But it looks cool as hell when it's not in season. Some kind of fruit trees. Isn't it delightful? Oh, it's definitely almonds. No, that's nectarines or apricots.
Like this neighborhood looks hecka suburban. But these are all pretty old homes. And it's actually not that good of a neighborhood. Like it's definitely very working class. It's super cute and the people here are really nice, but there's a lot of robberies, or at least there used to be. There used to be a lot of robberies out here. There used to be a lot of crime. There were a lot of like homeless people that would stay out here, and it just was not the safest neighborhood to be in. But the people that lived here were some of the like kindest, most helpful people in the world. Like they always like treated their neighbors with respect. It was just people would like come into this neighborhood and commit crimes. Like that was the most thing. Or there was like a lot of teenagers that just like were bored, which is what happens. A lot of gang activity out here. I mean, this is like West Central Fresno, so it's not like the proper West Side, but it's pretty close. This guy sells the little pinwheels. Like there's people like that just go around town and they sell snacks and they ring their bell. They're like the ice cream truck. Like they ring their bell and then all the kids come out and they buy the snacks. They've got guys like that sell raspados or like other types of Mexican candies or ice creams or fruit. And really, it's a pretty decent community for all of its faults. Like the roads are obviously kind of shitty, but for all of its faults, like this part of Fresno, it's changed a lot. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's been resilient through it. I think it's been the most resistant to like proper gentrification than a lot of other parts of Fresno. It's still really expensive out here. And they built a sidewalk by that trailer park that's full of tweakers.
Worship the Lord at the Shrine of St. Therese, one of the most beautiful churches in Fresno. Fun fact, this was my childhood parish. As the years pass, a city changes. The roads are widened, with one more lane, hoping that it'll fix traffic that came when someone decided that this was the perfect spot to become Silicon Valley's next bedroom community. High-speed rail, while many believe it would bring great economic benefits to the region, has instead become a decades-long, over-budget boondoggle that has torn apart historic neighborhoods in some of the city's most vulnerable areas. More in the closure of Golden State Boulevard, which was once part of a mighty highway. High-speed rail destroyed this. And look at that wall. That's for high-speed rail, too. Observe the gorgeous empty lot that is part of the spectacular failure of California's high-speed rail system. Look, they tried. They really did. But instead, we've got nothing. Don't worry, high-speed rail nerds. It'll get built eventually. Hopefully in 500 years when the rail network's finally done and you can get to Silicon Valley in 45 minutes, it'll benefit the locals who have been here for generations and not just accelerate Fresno's shift into another Bay Area suburb. Look, Fresno's not the Bay, and it never will be. But high-speed rail really wants to make it closer. And that's not a bad thing, but it'll bring about a lot of change. You see, these places that we used to frequent, the shops, the cafes, the music venues, nightclubs, restaurants, they've changed hands and they've been demolished multiple times over. Some to make way for freeways, some to make way for new housing, some just fell into decay, and some to make way for high-speed rail. If you're one of the many people who leave the town that raised them for better opportunity, or simply by chance, you may begin to feel that disconnect grow and grow over time. Especially if where you used to call home is the next up-and-coming city. Literally, the amount of people moving to these second-tier cities in the West right now and calling them up-and-coming or taking advantage of their affordability is crazy. Depending on where you were born, a lot of mid-sized cities are starting to see big city problems. In Fresno, rents have skyrocketed, and the few people that I know who live there pay rents similar to what I do in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it's a trend seen in other places that were off the radar for young professionals looking to settle down but still have access to big city amenities. You see similar trends in places like Boise, Salt Lake, Southern California's Inland Empire, Denver, Charlotte, Bozeman, Austin, you name it. Right now, the mid-sized cities are having a moment. But like with what happened with gentrification in places like New York or San Francisco, these second-tier cities are also becoming unaffordable, especially for those who grew up there, or at least becoming something totally different than what they were even 10 years ago. In Central California, a lot of the changes are welcomed by locals. They're happy to see better infrastructure, like finally getting protected bike lanes, safer streets, and new businesses that offer more than there was before. But there is an underlying current of resentment for the transplants from Silicon Valley or Southern California. Ironic, given the natural back and forth and family ties that many people in both regions have to each other. But let me be clear, I never fucking liked living in the Central Valley. It was hot, dusty, everyone up in each other's business all the time. Jobs paid peanuts and expected you to do the work of 10 people for minimum wage. Drugs and alcoholism were so normalized that you couldn't get away from it. You needed a car to live. It was not optional. The bus was a joke. But damn, did it have amazing food and a hardworking, diverse community of people who, when shit hit the fan, would have your back through it all. In spite of all its redeeming qualities, I hated living there so much, and I don't ever see myself living there again. You see, the Odyssey sold the message that home was a place waiting for you, a place that you fought for. And this is an ancient story. But in the 20th century, William Saroyan believed the same when he wrote The Human Comedy. But in modern America, where technology is progressing at a rapid speed and unfettered capitalism is monetizing everything, home doesn't wait for you. It moves on. You find a new home somewhere else with new people and new experiences that may better suit what you want from the world. And oddly enough, now that I've left for so long to the point where I can't even be considered a local anymore, I cherish it for all that it is. And I'm sure a lot of folks who move away from a place when they're young feel the same way about visiting it as an outsider in later adulthood. You really do get a new perspective on a city you once called home when it no longer feels like home. When it no longer is home. When the place that you end up is more welcoming and sees you for everything that you are in a way that the place you left never could, you learn to appreciate and sometimes resent what it has become over the many years since you told it to fuck off and vowed never to voluntarily set foot in such a hellscape ever again. And then you see a TikTok of some girly romanticizing the fuck out of the shitty city you couldn't leave fast enough.
Get ready for moving vlogs because I am moving to Fresno. Anybody who's from California are probably thinking, why the hell are you going to Fresno? And to answer that, I say, I don't know. We're currently on the outskirts of LA, but we feel like we need a little more. We could move to LA or we could move back to San Diego, but we want something new, something fresh, something different. So we decided that we're gonna go to Fresno, California. Today we got in the car to do a little looking around. We were able to get some Dutch Bros and we stopped at this place called Doghouse Grill. Burgers are delicious and these fries, oh my freaking god, they're seasoned so perfectly and they're delicious. To any of you guys who are from Fresno or from the Central Valley, what do you guys do out here? Am I making the wrong choice? I just feel like people who go to LA don't really like it there. I moved here because of Mike. LA just really isn't my thing. And since I'm a Texas girl, I feel like it's gonna be really easy for me to fit in. Anybody who's thinking about moving, I say do it. From Austin, I went to San Diego, then I went to San Antonio, then Santa Clarita. Now we're gonna do Fresno. Desiree does Fresno.
And realize, hey, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe it's gotten better. Sure, it's not for you, but someone's happy here. So you visit. Go home for the holidays. Besides the family members who still live there, nobody recognizes you on the streets or in the coffee shop anymore. It's like being a tourist in a new city, except you don't need Google Maps to get around.
So my goal is to win the Bee Movie. It's literally been there since Bee Movie has been out. And I come to Fresno like once a year, and I've tried every time and failed. There it is. Maybe this will be the time. Okay, so I've got to press it when my movie lines up with this arrow. I really want Bee Movie. Oh, so close, so close. Bee Movie will have to wait until another time. Maybe next year.